Hello, hello. I'm not ready, but that's okay. This just came out today. Um, well, if you're wondering what this is, obviously some Hoenn Gaiden stuff. If you see Magnezone and Muddy in the same box, but for those not in the know, and by in the know I mean either on the forums or in the Discord chat for Hoenn Gaiden, there have been two more changes made to the meta before the Pet Mod Premier League coming up soon, and I'm going to be going over those, my thoughts, and yeah, no, I'm just going to dive right in. I want this to be a short one. Hopefully I don't ramble on too long. Anyways, Magnezone got nerfed, or it got changed. Note how I have Volt Absorb here. It says it's illegal. It's going to be its one and only ability instead of Levitate. This is huge. If you have any Superman teams that involve Magnezone, if you have any defensive teams involving Magnezone, be sure to revise them, because Magnezone isn't going to exactly work as intended anymore, as it is now not only ground weak, 4 times ground weak, meaning that it can also be trapped by Doug Trio. That's a big thing. But that also means it is no longer levitating, which means that, it's Spikes weak and it's Arena Trap Doug weak, as I mentioned a bit before. So, your big physical Earthquakers can take a swing at Magnezone now and deal a lot of damage. However, Magnezone in turn does get Volt Absorb. While it is not immune to paralysis, it doesn't really care about paralysis in the first place. That just means it's not burned or slept or something. Or frozen, I guess. That also means that it is now a really good special check. Again, very similar to Zapdos, very similar to, non-Fire Punch Gengar. Oh, this thing absolutely beats non-Fire Punch Gengar. Now that I'm thinking about, immunity to Thunderbolts, along with an Ice Punch and Giga Drain resistance, make it really, really good. Especially if it has Explosion in the last slot instead of Destiny Bond, then this thing absolutely eats those Gengar variants for breakfast. Zapdos variants too, although Zapdos can paralyze it and definitely annoy it. What else do we have? I mean, it does have the same moves as before. Pardon the spike. It does have the same moves as before. So, you can run T-Bolt, you can run T-Wave. I imagine T-Wave is going to be a lot more common. You're going to want it to, maybe be more speed controlling. It's going to be seen on a lot more offensive teams, perchance. Mind you, I think that'd be interesting. Maybe like a substitute and then lefties. Something like this. Something like this. And you're probably going to want to invest into that defense stat of its if you want to be able to handle those pesky Earthquake users or those hidden power ground users in this case. So yeah, alright. But then the next big change is a lot more broad. It has a greater scope, a greater breadth of impact. I know there was another word that someone mentioned to me earlier today that also described this, but I totally forgot. The scope of the impact, and that is a nerf to the move Lunge. Instead of 80 base power, it will now be 60 base power. But it retains all of its other properties, 24 PP, 100% accuracy, and 100% chance to lower the target's attack by 1. Very similar to Struggle Bug in later gens. It's a weaker bug type move with this, really, really good property. on its hands. And that's essentially what this is going to be, is it's going to sort of act as Hoenn Gaiden's struggle bug. Although, for a lot of bug types, this is, and I'm just going to go over like Pinsir and Scizor. Lunge is currently their best offensive option because it deals so much damage compared to, a regular hidden power bug. That 10 base power really helps it out. And it's kind of unfortunate, but what that also means is that, say I'm Pinsir, that frees me up to run things like Earthquake, it frees me to run things like Rock Slide. Although with Pinsir probably doesn't have this problem because you can go Earthquake, Rock Slide, I guess Brick Break, and then Hidden Power Bug. And then that really doesn't do much in terms of getting in the way of its coverage. Again, that doesn't mean that it's going to be worthless. I think you're just going to see Lunge on a lot more mons that really don't give a they don't care. I don't know. I don't care. I can swear. I think. I don't know. They're just not going to give a shit. Flygon, defensive Flygon variants that want to run Lunge, chip out Celebi. Sure, that's completely fine, Although in that case, if you're, if you're attacking Celebi, you want to go all out on your offenses. So, HP Vug is going to be the way. What I was saying is, for mons of note that will be affected more than others, Ledian's going to be pretty affected because... Actually, no, it's not. Actually, yes, it is. Lunge and Aeroblast, make up its stabs on the pure power set. And now that you have the Lunge nerf, you're sort of spreading yourself even thinner in regards to coverage. So it's like, what do you usually run? Well, you could run Hidden Power Rock, Hidden Power Ground. Well, now Lunge is just way weaker. So, you're really strapped for options here. So I'm going to remove Pinsir. I'm going to remove Flygon. Mawile's surely going to miss it, in terms of offensive coverage. Scizor is desperately going to miss it. Because, does it get Rock Slide? It does not, because it's just Scyther, but Steel. It gets Aerial Ace, I guess. But now it's definitely suffering a bit in terms of the coverage department. Because you can no longer, just run Lunge, and then something Lunge Aerial Ace, another Hidden Power, HP Rock again. So it's definitely hurting for that a bit. Mawile really likes it because it's good coverage, although it gets Rock Slide. It already gets Mash. So Mash, Rock Slide. I mean, this is the Metagross coverage right here. For its offensive sets, this is the Metagross coverage. And then, you can run like a myriad of support options, I call Mawile special move support options because basically that's pretty much what they are. They used to take things out. Lunge was just really good at being a solid psychic check. That's not, something like Crunch. Does it get Shadow Ball? Does not get Shadow Ball. Unfortunate. But then Lunge, I imagine, is better on, defensive bulky sets that run things like Slack Up, for instance. So yeah, something like this. I could see being reasonable, although I don't imagine Rock Slide to be here. I imagine something like Thunder Wave. No, I can see Rock Slide here, depending on what kind of mons are in. Regardless, Mawile isn't exactly hurting much, but I do think it's going to be affected in terms of its options. Again, the mons I remove, they're not going to care much for these options. Parasect is going to kind of miss it, although realistically, it already has a really high attack stat, and I think Lunge is still going to be used for its secondary property and it's still going to hit hard. You know, base 60, that's not too below. That's not too much of a nerf, in my opinion. And, you know, you're not exactly hurting for much in terms of coverage. Offensive-wise on Parasect, you know, this is a support mod at heart. It's got Spore, it's got Aromatherapy, it's got Knockoff from Water Absorb. You know, not that it matters, but like, hey, I don't want to spread misinformation. Yeah, no, absolutely crazy. Parasect is, you know, Parasect's going to be unaffected, but it's still, you know, there. So the main mods hurting are usually going to be those that want to reserve their hidden power for something else, coverage-wise. So again, that's Ledian, Scizor, Parasect, Mawile, and I'm just going to go to the end because this is going to be kind of an interesting turn of events, is that Pokemon with access to Signal Beam, you know, are unaffected. So, Illumise fans, fear not, you are relatively unscathed, you know. Oh no, it's a 5 base power nerf if I'm running a Bug Stab at Illumise. And Armaldo fans, you know, you guys keep winning, you know. You get access to both Rapid Spin and Knock. I'm just gonna validate. Maybe we go to 6 Pokemon. Oops. I'm just gonna check if this is a valid combo. So yeah, Ledian, Scizor. So that's not bad. If I built a team. So those are the mods that I think are gonna be affected. Let's validate real quick. Your team is the combo of... Oh, this is banned by standard. I don't know, I was just curious. Well, that's okay. It's been an Earthquake, you know. It's not missing much. So Armaldo gets out of here alive. So does Illumise. It's probably going to be these two in terms of semi-relevant mods. Realistically, I think this is just a... Excuse me. Holy moly. Allergies have been murdering me today. This is going to be a Ledian, you know, Scizor nerf. This is going to nerf Mons. I think this is sort of like a Ledian nerf, essentially. And sidewise, a Pinsir nerf. So, Pokemon with access to Lunge. I guess you could also say it's a Golisopod nerf. Although Golisopod's not exactly hurting in the coverage department either, as it does get access to Brick Break, it does get access to Rock Slide, it does get access to, you know, a bunch of strong attacks. It gets Swords Dance already, it gets Bulk Up. So, you know, what's an extra hidden power? You know, you run HP Bug, you run Rock Slide, those are your two moves. You're not exactly going to be hurting for much. Although I think it would be interesting if Leech Life got a buff. Let me look up. I think it would be nice if Leech Life got a buff, you know, for whatever does get it. I mean, it'd be funny on Victorville, it'd be funny on the bat. But I think everything else that gets it, I think it would be a bit too much on Parasect, realistically. Especially Golisopod. But the other mons, sort of... I mean, realistically, you're not going to play with them, so this is just more of a flight of fancy. More than anything. Sorry, Golisopod, but not really. You're, like, really good, even though you technically have no ability. Yeah, no. Those are the only changes. Again, this is really short compared to the things I made recently. Note that I have mentioned that, oh, Magnezone's on the chopping block, and that's why I didn't build with it. Let's hop back a bit. I pretty much swapped out Magnezone in most of my teams. Like, a good amount of my teams. Mind you, I didn't have Magnezone in too many teams. I mean, I'm probably going to have to modify this a bit. Uh-oh. Frame rate is acting up a bit. But what I want to just go over is Illumise. I'll probably just go through. Yeah, no. So this. I just change it to Signal Beam. There we go. There we go. I probably have to change the names now, but yeah, no. Unfortunately, it's not going to matter much on Pinsir. Like, Lunge is still going to do a metric fuck ton realistically, but you know, you're just going to need the extra oomph. The hold on, this doesn't nerf speed, does it? No, that's fine. I'm like, wait a minute, just making sure. So again, you know, go look at your teams. I imagine most of you Hoenn Gaideners have some teams with with Magnezone, or you know, more especially with a Lunger on them. That's going to be kind of a big deal. But otherwise, yeah, no. That's going to be it from me. I really didn't have much to think about. Maybe this is a fun little idea. Ideas for Hoenn Gaiden mods. You already see Togekiss there. You already see Magcargo. But you know, we already have so many, like, we already have camera up to. It's like what Magcargo do. It's like, you know, your boy's been cooking. Your boy's got to cook. Your boy will figure something out. Either way, that's it for this this brief analysis compared to what I usually do. And I'll see you whenever I post again. Thanks for watching, I guess. Take care.